Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Modi welcomes Germany's focus on India's strategy and progress made between the two countries. Germany increases visa quota for Indian skilled workers. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken meets Lebanese Prime Minister in Britain, says moment of urgency in reaching diplomatic resolution in Lebanon. And King Charles officially opens Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa, acknowledges Commonwealth's painful history with slavery. India and Germany on Friday exchanged several agreements and joint declarations of intent. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Germany's Olaf Scholz witnessed the exchange of agreements between the two countries. The MOU on the roadmap on innovation and technology and a joint declaration of intent in the field of employment and labour were exchanged at Hyderabad House in New Delhi. Several agreements were also exchanged. These included the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty in criminal matters, the Agreement on Exchange and Mutual Protection of Classified Information, Indo-German Green Hydrogen Roadmap, Roadmap on Innovation and Technology, Joint Declaration of Intent in the field of employment and labour, Joint Declaration of Intent for joint cooperation in research and development on advanced materials, MOU on cooperation in the field of skill development and vocational education and training, Joint Declaration of Intent on Indo-German Green Urban Mobility Partnership for All. After the exchange of agreements between the ministers of India and Germany, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the media. Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted that there is a need to resolve the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia.
साथियों, यूक्रेन और पश्चिम एशिया में चल रहे संघर्ष हम दोनों के लिए चिंता के विषय है। भारत का हमेशा मत रहा है कि युद्ध से समस्याओं का समाधान नहीं हो सकता और शांति की बहाली के लिए भारत हर संभव योगदान देने के लिए तैयार है। इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र में अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कानूनों के तहत फ्रीडम ऑफ नेविगेशन और रूल ऑफ लॉ सुनिश्चित करने पर हम दोनों एकमत हैं। हम इस बात पर भी सहमत हैं कि 20वीं सदी में बनाए गए ग्लोबल फोरम 21वीं सदी की चुनौतियों से निपटने में सक्षम नहीं है। यूएन सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल सहित अन्य मल्टीलेटरल इंस्टीट्यूशंस में रिफॉर्म्स की आवश्यकता है।
Addressing media at the India-Germany joint press conference, Prime Minister Modi said that both nations are working together to eliminate terrorism.
रक्षा और सुरक्षा क्षेत्रों में बढ़ता सहयोग हमारे गहरे आपसी विश्वास का प्रतीक है। क्लासिफाइड इंफॉर्मेशन के एक्सचेंज पर बनी सहमति इस दिशा में एक नया कदम है। आज संपन्न की गई म्यूचुअल लीगल असिस्टेंस ट्रीटी से आतंकवाद और अलगाववादी तत्वों से निपटने में हमारे साझा प्रयास सशक्त होंगे। ग्रीन एंड सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ के साझा कमिटमेंट पर दोनों देश निरंतर कार्यरत हैं।
Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz met at Hyderabad House in India's capital, New Delhi. The leaders co-chaired the 7th intergovernmental consultations. Both leaders comprehensively reviewed the progress made in India-Germany strategic partnership in the areas of defense, security, technology and innovation, and energy, green and sustainable development. To expand and elevate India and Germany relations, new initiatives in the areas of AI, semiconductors, clean energy were taken.
2 सालों में हमारी स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप के विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में उत्साहजनक प्रगति हुई है। रक्षा, टेक्नोलॉजी, एनर्जी, ग्रीन एंड सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट जैसे क्षेत्रों में बढ़ता सहयोग आपसी विश्वास का प्रतीक बना है।
Both the leaders also addressed the 18th Asia-Pacific Conference of German Business in New Delhi on Friday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that Asia-Pacific Conference has played an important role in strengthening relations between the EU and the Asia-Pacific region. Prime Minister Modi highlighted India's strong pillars of democracy, demography, demand and data, making it an attractive investment destination for German businesses. The event saw participation of nearly 650 top CEOs and business leaders.
दुनिया को स्टेबिलिटी और सस्टेनेबिलिटी की जरूरत है, ट्रस्ट और ट्रांसपेरेंसी की जरूरत है। चाहे सोसाइटी हो या फिर सप्लाई चेन, हर मोर्चे पर इन वैल्यूज को बल देने की जरूरत है। इनके बिना कोई भी देश, कोई भी रीजन अपने बेहतर फ्यूचर की कल्पना नहीं कर सकता। इंडो पैसिफिक रीजन तो दुनिया के फ्यूचर के लिए बहुत जरूरी है। ग्लोबल ग्रोथ हो, पॉपुलेशन हो, स्किल्स हो, इस रीजन का कंट्रीब्यूशन और पोटेंशियल दोनों बहुत व्यापक है।
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz emphasized on having more cooperation with India and the need for a free trade agreement between India and the EU. Scholz said his country is working with full force to make a new policy to allow the skilled workforce of India to work in Germany.
At our intergovernmental consultations with India, we also want to deepen our cooperation on defense and agree to bring our militaries closer together. Our overall message is clear: we need more cooperation, not less.
Ministry of External Affairs has briefed about German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's visit to India. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said that both the leaders in their bilateral meeting have discussed on various global and regional issues, including Russia, Ukraine, as well as West Asia. The high point was the intergovernmental consultations.
The visit comes at a time when there has been keen desire expressed in Germany across party lines to further strengthen relations with India. For the first time, the German government has released 2 India-specific policy documents. One is a focus on India, which is only the second such country report that Germany has released about any country. And the second is the labor strategy, skilled labor strategy, which is the first such report that Germany has released about any country.
The Foreign Secretary further added that Scholz's visit has come at a time when there is unanimous agreement within German polity to further strengthen ties with India.
On the bilateral front, the 2 leaders expressed satisfaction at the considerable progress that has been made in diverse sectors of trade and investment, green and sustainable development, economic and development cooperation, science and technological collaboration, education, culture, people-to-people relations, and the areas that are now emerging at the forefront of their cooperation, which includes critical and emerging technologies, defense and security, and, as I said earlier, skilling and mobility.
The Foreign Secretary spoke about the bilateral trade between India and Germany, which stood at $33 billion in 2023. Both sides pointed out that there has been substantial progress made, but there is still significant potential in India-Germany relations.
Relations between India and Germany have been on a constant upswing in recent years. Our bilateral trade stood at $33 billion in 2023. And cumulative German investments in India amount to nearly $15 billion. As both sides pointed out on repeated occasions during this morning's discussions in multiple formats, there has been substantial progress made, but there is still significant potential in the relationship that remains to be exploited.
The Foreign Secretary said that counter-terrorism cooperation featured an important element during the discussion between the 2 sides.
In the political and security domain, counterterrorism cooperation featured as an important element in the discussions between the two leaders. And in order to promote closer cooperation, in order to investigate and prosecute criminals, including for the crimes of terrorism, there was a very important agreement that was concluded during this visit, which is the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty in Criminal Matters, and the agreement on the exchange and mutual protection of classified information.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is meeting Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So India is becoming increasingly important for German businesses amid rising geopolitical tensions between Beijing and the West. DW correspondent Chiponda Chimbelu joins us from Berlin with more. Chiponda, hi. With Chancellor Olaf Scholz in India for the next 3 days, what can India look forward to in this budding partnership?
Thanks for having me. Well, Germany's Chancellor Olaf Scholz is on a 3-day visit to India, and he is traveling with a delegation of ministers and business representatives. Now, as trade relations between the European Union and China have worsened, it has become more imperative for Germany to seek other markets. And this week, the Asia-Pacific Conference of German Business in Delhi coincided with intergovernmental consultations between Germany and India on Friday. Now, to highlight India's growing importance, the German government adopted a paper called Focus on India. Now, that aims to further bolster the strategic partnership between the two countries in many areas, including trade, migration, and climate and foreign policy.
Now, this meeting is also about Germany-India economic ties. Where do they stand right now?
Well, trade is rising, and so are people-to-people exchanges. Germany has passed more than 24 measures to help facilitate immigration from India to attract skilled workers to fill gaps in Germany's labor market. And trade between Germany and India has been rising. In fact, last year it surged to a record high of 30.8 billion euros. Now, German companies are planning to expand their investments in India over the coming years, according to the German-Indian Business Outlook 2024. But German businesses are also facing challenges in India. The German-Indian Business Outlook, for instance, mentions bureaucracy, corruption, and a complex tax system, among other issues. But despite that, German companies are confident about their long-term prospects in India because India's economy is expected to grow over the coming years. The latest IMF World Economic Outlook expects the Indian economy to grow 7% this year and 6.5% in 2025.
Thank you, Chiponda, with those updates. On the second day of the Chanakya Defence Dialogue being held in New Delhi, Dr. S. Somnath, the chairman of Indian Space Research Organisation, cautioned on the hazards of space debris. He also outlined major capability building initiatives of ISRO for situational awareness in space.
Earlier, we used to build satellites for 15 years, 20 years of lifetime. Today, we see that the technology is changing too fast, and we need to look at how we can have more flexible satellites that will adapt to market demands. And the technology itself is now living only for short duration, like 3 to 5 years. And also new bands are coming, and because of the crowding of the infrastructure, the frequencies and new bands are getting qualified and also going into optical domain. Again, quantum communication programs are coming up. We also are going to build a set of satellites to do study on this quantum key distribution for securing communication.
Former Indian permanent representative to the UN, Ruchira Kamboj, highlighted that India has been using its growing soft power and diplomatic heft to champion the cause of the Global South. She also listed important resolutions that the UN Security Council passed during the last tenure of India as the President of the Security Council.
India's approach to multilateralism has never, and I stress the word never, has never been about power politics. It has been about moral leadership and walking the talk. This remains unchanged till date. Our founding leaders recognized that for the global system to be sustainable, it must be inclusive and it must be just. And today, as we champion the cause of the global South, we do so with the same moral clarity that defined our early years.
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Turkish airstrikes hit PKK targets in Iraq again after Ankara's attack. Taiwan performs nightlife fire drills for combat readiness. And 6 people stand trial in Vietnam over the karaoke bar fire 2 years ago.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. As the efforts got underway to hold fresh talks over a ceasefire and hostage deal in Gaza, the United States said that it does not want a protracted Israeli campaign in Lebanon. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that there was a real sense of urgency to reach a diplomatic resolution in Lebanon following Israel's military operations in the country, while calling for the protection of civilians. The top U.S. diplomat said this in London during a bilateral meeting with Jordanian Foreign Minister following a tour of West Asia this week.
The most important thing is to drive toward the diplomatic resolution to get the understandings that are necessary for the full implementation of 1701. And the sooner we're able to do that, the sooner we're able to get a resolution. Meanwhile, we want to make sure, we want to see civilians protected. We want to make sure that Lebanese armed forces are not caught in the crossfire. And certainly, we want to make sure that in places like Beirut, there is a real effort to make sure that people are not harmed, that civilians are not caught up in this crossfire.
Now, amid the U.S. presidential elections, there is a great interest in the Indian American community in the country. The community is contributing in diverse spheres of American society. One such area is public health. Indian doctors form the backbone of America's health system, both in terms of their numbers as well as in terms of their talent. DD India's Shubhendu Ghosh tells the story of a veteran Indian health expert and community leader in New Jersey.
In this election season, healthcare issues, especially those related to cost and access to care, are an important concern for many American voters. Indian American doctors are playing a key role in the public health ecosystem of the US. Traveling through New Jersey, we meet Dr. Avinash Gupta, a chief of cardiology at Monmouth Hospital and a prominent community leader.
10% of doctors are Indians. They are in cardiology, surgery and medicine, and in all fields. And we are giving back to the community. Like COVID time, we vaccinated over 30,000 people in New Jersey. And during night time, we did a Zoom clinic and advised patients in India.
Given the election time, Dr. Gupta also reflects on the key public health challenges in the United States.
The public health issues are drug addiction, a lot of fentanyl coming from southern border, which needs to be tightened, and also increase in mental health problems. Of course, we believe in preventive medicine, and we want to take care of the risk factors like blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, so that we don't end up having heart attack and a stroke.
Dr. Gupta has spent decades serving the people of New Jersey and fostered close bonds with his patients.
He's been my doctor now for, my wife and I were talking about it, at least 20-some years. And he's by far the best doctor I have ever had. He's wonderful. He's taken care of me.
He's been my doctor for about 25 years. He was my parents' doctor 25 years before that. We came here from Manhattan. My parents had the best of cardiac care there, and they were looking for the best of cardiac care here.
He's very caring, knowledgeable. He is very good to his patients. Whenever you have a problem, he's right there, and he comes and takes care of you right away.
Dr. Avinash Gupta has been practicing in Lakewood, New Jersey since 1994. When not seeing patients, he likes to be engaged in community service in both the US and India.
Indian origin doctors in United States are known for their skill, talent and compassion. While treating their patients, they've also created important goodwill that brings the peoples of the two countries, India and the US, closer together. With camera person Jaishankar, Shubhendu Ghosh for DD India in New Jersey.
Back to Asia. Turkey carried out airstrikes against Kurdish militants in northern Iraq overnight, hitting dozens of targets for the second night in a row. The Defense Ministry said on Friday after a gun attack that killed 5 people in Ankara. The operation followed a security meeting that President Recep Tayyip Erdogan chaired with key ministers and the armed forces and intelligence agency chiefs in Istanbul on Thursday evening. The Defense Ministry said that Turkey hit 34 PKK targets in Hakurk, Gara, Qandil and Sinjar in northern Iraq, destroying shelters, warehouses and other facilities and neutralizing a large number of militants. The Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK, which has waged an insurgency in southeast Turkey for 4 decades, claimed responsibility on Friday for Wednesday's attack in Ankara. King Charles officially opened the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa on Friday. Representatives of 56 countries, most with roots in Britain's empire, are attending the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting that began in Samoa on Monday. King Charles said that the Commonwealth should acknowledge its painful history as African and Caribbean nations continue to advocate for reparations for the country's role in the transatlantic slave trade. Taiwan's military conducted night fire drills on the Penghu Islands on Thursday as part of the annual Chengqiang exercise. Taiwan used M60A3 main battle tanks to test combat readiness. Penghu Island in a narrow passage separates Taiwan and China. 6 people stand trial in Vietnam over a huge fire that tore through a karaoke bar 2 years ago, killing 32 people. The blaze broke out in a province close to a business hub, Ho Chi Minh City, and led to the closure of thousands of karaoke bars nationwide for failing to meet the regulations. E-Gaming Federation today launched City Quest Shades of Bharat, an online educational game in partnership with Ministry of Information and Broadcasting as part of Create in India Challenges for Waves 2025. CEO of E-Gaming Federation, Anurag Saxena, in conversation with DD India's Siddharth Bhardwaj, explained how gaming can be more than just recreation.
I have with me the CEO of E-Gaming Federation, Mr. Anurag Saxena. Let's talk with him. Sir, a very warm welcome. Tell us about City Quest. What is it actually?
Create in India is a very simple game. It is based on a drop thumbs game. It's a very familiar format for children and young adults, where you download the game. You're given a set of cards. There is 1 card per city. There are 56 cities. And you compete based on various parameters like education, cleanliness, gender equity, etc., etc.
There is a competition which is automatically, there in the game when you download it, and you become a part of it automatically. Tell us something about that.
Now, what happens is when you join a game, you select which city you're a part of. You could be part of Team Bhopal, Team Bangalore, Team Chennai, Team Jaipur, Team Shimla, whatever it is. And you start playing the game. The more you play, the more points you accumulate. And in the end, we will bring the top winners, the top 5 winners across Bharat. And we have special categories for armed force personnel and for Divyangs as well. So we invite individual winners to take part of MIB's Waves contest where they'll get these awards.
Tell us about, is there an age bracket to play this game?
Anybody from the age of 5 to 150 can play this game. All you need is a mobile phone, and any Android phone would do. And you need an attention to detail. That's all you need.
So that was CEO of E-Gaming Federation, Anurag Saxena, who said that this game is a mix of entertainment and information, which makes it infotainment, and people of any age group or every age group can play this game. With camera person Rajendra Joshi, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in New Delhi.
So that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And of course, you can download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for watching. Namaskar.